So you join me, but not in our normal setting of All the Mods 10. You join me on this Star Destroyer type structure, which by the way, very cool. Where of course, we're going to be starting a new adventure. And that adventure would be FTB Skies 2. And there's only one way to start off, and that is by activating this portal. And once we activate the portal, we are then greeted by a menu of many different worlds, different presets on how we want to start. And the one I chose is a soulful island with ethereal lights and amber trees. So yes, this mod pack is a skyblock mod pack. I'm thinking we use this to break up All the Mods 10 series, because let's be honest, we've been uploading that now for ages, and we've even started doing it twice a week. So why not break it up with a new series? So we've got a whole quest book to go at. We'll try and see what we can do in terms of completing it. And as we look around the island, we are greeted by a lovely house. That house is now my house. And after claiming some of the quests and breaking a log and claiming the saplings that we get from that quest, we can start growing some trees. And while we wait for that tree to grow, we started looking at other quests that we could possibly complete. And one of those quests was Grains of Infinity. Now, Grains of Infinity come from the mod Ender.io, and they are used to make a hell of a lot of things within that mod. And the way we can get those is by using waterfall that we have going right down to the bottom of the world and collecting ourselves Grains of Infinity that way. And when we had gotten back up towards our house, we heard something rustling nearby, and it turns out it was a loot llama. But yes, that's correct. There are FTB events in this that we can actually toggle on and off if we so do so. And there are many of these. They range from spawning a frog to giving us a nudge off the edge of the map to loot llamas, even some wandering traders who we might see a little bit later on. But it was time to sleep our first day away. And by the time we had woken up, some of our trees had fully grown. So it was time to punch those down. And I even broke a little bit of dirt, and that managed to get us another quest done where we could claim some coins. So with that being said, I think it's time we get some basic tools under our belt. So a crafting table was made, a pickaxe was made, and even a chest, because that chest then completed another quest where we got 2 copper chests. And another quest that we needed to get done was the composter, because we needed the bone meal. So a composter was made, and it was time to wait for trees to grow again, so we could at least fill the composter. And in the meantime, we're going to make some fire sticks. Why? Because this also gives us an item that can disable the rain in our area, and yes please, because that is annoying. We also went and cleaned up our area a little bit with our pickaxe to take out some of the deep slate clusters, and then we were ready to start chopping some trees down and throwing it straight inside of the composter. Any spare saplings anyway. We also got another visitor in a goat, which managed to drop us some iron, and not so long after we managed to get the bone meal, and that was that quest completed. And now here I was overcomplicating everything so much, and the reason being is because I ultimately needed string. Now I was sat here waiting forever to get some string, to the point where I'd even made a little bit of a room way off in yonder to get some mob spawning, to kill some spiders, to get string. However, that took me about 40 minutes to do, and there was just no need to do that at all. There was absolutely no need to do that at all, because if I had paid attention and read the quest book, we can get a grass seed by simply throwing some Grains of Infinity and a dirt block in a puddle of water, and it'll give you a grass seed. And then we could start growing some grass, and once the grass had grown enough, we could then start using our bone meal that we had been collecting and trying to get some industrial hemp, which we could then grow. Luckily, from one of these rewards, we actually got some worms, which helps speed the growth up of these things. However, I have a bit of a secret. If you have a hoe in your hand, any kind of hoe, and you twerk with that hoe in your hand, it makes any crop grow quicker apart from mystical agriculture. And it also does use the durability on So, but we could grow our industrial hemp. 3 industrial hemp in a 2x2 crafting table will work as long as there's 3 of them, and we'll get some string, which then we could use to make the strainer to start collecting some pebbles or cobblestone. And once we had got the strainer, which was fairly simple to make, the way it works is just by placing it down in water, and over time it will get you a bunch of items, cobblestone pebbles or stone pebbles being included, and we could finally get our very first cobblestone piece. Now, what makes this mod pack stand out the most for me, and why I chose this mod pack, is for the simple reason that you choose your direction you want to go. You can either go down mystical agriculture, which we've already done before in all the mods 10. You can also go down the sieving route, which I don't really want to do because you do that in every other Skyblock mod pack, whether that be iFactory or even Project Ozone. Or you could go down the budding route, which is the route I'm going to choose because it's something different that I've never done before. And the way we get started with that is by combining 1 cobblestone piece and some grains of infinity, and then we simply have to just dye it to get a certain ore. So in this case, I want iron. Iron is equal to white dye. So if we get some white dye and throw it on our void crystal catalyst, it will change into a iron budding amethyst looking block, and over time it will grow the shards that we can then collect and turn into iron. And in the background, the strainer was running this whole time, which means we also had even more cobblestone that we could use. Try and even craft a furnace, but for some goddamn reason, the furnace recipe is completely different to what I am used to. In fact, for a furnace, we need a campfire. But how would one get a campfire? Well, you can use a torch, some sticks, and some logs. But we have no way of getting torches, or do we? So do you remember earlier on when we crafted them fire sticks? Well, it looks like we're going to have to burn some logs to create some ash, which we then can use a shovel on to pick up this ash. And just like coal, if we combine it with a stick, we only get the 1 torch. But that 1 torch was enough for me to make a campfire, which then we could use in making a furnace. Now, our island is also covered in deep slate, which means we can go 1 step further and start Ender IO by crafting the primitive alloy smelter, which is just 3 furnaces, grains of infinity, and 5 deep slate. And there we go, we have our primitive alloy smelter. Oh, now we seem to be rattling through these quests now that I've caught on to how this mod pack is functioning, because we then go straight into making some lava. And the way we get some lava is by hammering down some cobblestone into gravel, into then dirt, and then sand, and then we can smelt that sand to get some glass panes. Now we need a thing called tempered glass and also some cast iron, and the way we can get those is by using a campfire with the pan, the frying pan, which we get from the quest. We throw these items inside of the frying pan, and out pops us some tempered glass and some cast iron. We combine those things together in a crafting table, and we manage to get ourselves a tempered jar. We could then throw that tempered jar over the fire. We could then put some cobblestone inside of that jar, and over time, it will create us some lava. Now, when we get this lava stuff, it spits out a lava capsule, and the way we put it in the bucket is by putting the capsule back into the jar and using the bucket on the jar. And just like that, we have lava. But unfortunately, that's where I'm going to leave it off for today. So if you guys have enjoyed this episode, make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. Let me know what you guys think to this mod pack, whether you want me to continue it or you have any other recommendations on what other mod pack we should play. But thank you all, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Goodbye.